This is a cow's liver, and it acts in the same way as yours, but it's a lot bigger.
It's massive. It's extremely heavy.
It certainly is, and even in humans, your liver is your biggest internal organ. One of your liver's main jobs is to make sure you have a steady supply of glucose. It's a backup energy storage system.
But if I cut into it, what you can see is there are so many blood vessels running through the liver. It's got a massive blood supply.
Hang on, let me get the ouch cam on that, Chris. This is amazing.
Any glucose that isn't being used immediately for energy travels through these blood vessels so it can be stored here. This brown, mushy tissue is made up of liver cells called hepatocytes.
Once glucose is stored in these clever hepatocyte cells, we call it glycogen, which is made of lots of sugar molecules that are stuck together, and it can store them in the liver's cells until it's needed.
Gross alert!
Don't pop your own blisters. Nurse Aisling is doing this in a safe, sterile way.
Bacteria can build up underneath the blister, so it's just trying to let some of that fluid out so that the skin can heal underneath.
How was that, Finley?
I didn't feel anything.
Oh, well, that's great.
Nurse Aisling isn't just painting Finley's arm pink for fun. It's a special antiseptic to keep his rash clean.
Do you like the colour, Finley?
Not really.
I get where you're coming from. What would be a better colour?
Blue or something.
My thoughts, exactly. Next, a steroid cream to soothe the rash.
And finally, some bandages to protect it.
The whole idea of these is that they're still breathable, just so that that cream and everything else has a chance to actually dry.
How does it feel now?
Way better than it did before.
Well, that's good. And the rash should completely disappear in the next week or so.
Any gardening tips, Finley?
Use gloves and long sleeves.
Good advice. Bye!
At Alder Hey Children's Hospital in Liverpool, 8-year-old Amelia has arrived with her dad.
What's happened, Amelia?
I tripped and cut myself right here.
Oh, no! That looks sore. How did you trip?
Amelia was at school. The bell rang and she ran towards the classroom and tripped over her friend Lucy's feet.
It was dress-up day. Lucy came as a kangaroo with huge bouncy feet.
Did she?
No, she was a clown.
Really?
I've got it! Lucy was a giant!
No! Lucy has human size 1 feet.
Oh!
But Amelia didn't see them and tripped, cutting her lip on a table leg as she fell.
Ouch! Here to help is Sister Kat Ransom.
We've got a little bruise here, Dad, and then the little cut there is open and it's gone through the border of the lip.
Amelia's cut is up to the red part of her lip, where it can leave a scar, so she may need stitches. But right now...
So we need to give it a nice clean before we close it together, and that'll make sure that no nastiness gets on the inside, OK? That's nice and clean now.
Next, Sister Kat is using sticky tape stitches to bring the wound together.
So we just stick down one side, and then I'll just put a little smaller one at the bottom and at the top.
Looking good, Amelia.
Being very brave, aren't you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to eat?
You are allowed to eat.
Yes.
Yes.
That would have been my first question too.
We know, Zand.
It's the next morning. Amelia has been to see the doctor to find out if she needs stitches. How does she get on, Dad?
They were happy that the steri strips would do the job. No need for surgery, thank goodness. And so, off we go for breakfast.
Yes!
This calls for a breakfast celebration. Ooh, are we invited?
No, Zand. It's time to say bye to Amelia.
OK then, bye! Enjoy your brekkie!
Bye!
Coming in at number 5 in Mr. Grumble's top gross alerts of all time is from Series 5 from Lynette Amy.
Look away now if you're squeamish!
I remember this one as Amy arrived at hospital in the coolest way possible, in a helicopter. But I can't remember how she hurt herself.
Well, Amy is playing in the garden at her best friend's house and they were having a pool party.
But just as she was having a refreshing glass of juice, she slipped on some wet grass and fell onto the glass, cutting her chest. Ouch!
Ouch! A trauma team was standing by to help Amy, as was her furry little friend.
Rachel on the helicopter gave it to me.
In the operation, we got to see inside Amy's chest as the team attempted to remove a shard of glass that was stuck. Here it comes.
I can't see the shard of glass. Where is it?
There it is, right there. The operation was a great success, and Amy gave us an even greater gross alert.
Gross alert number 4 is courtesy of Leona.
But what happened to her?
Leona was in the living room doing her homework. She thought she heard her mother arriving home from work, so ran to meet her, but she tripped and landed on the metal door frame. Ouch! Leona had a really icky cut on her knee, so we had to put on an icky gross alert. Ooh! Leona's cut on her knee was very deep, and it had to be stitched together.
I've never had stitches before.
After a local anaesthetic, it was time for the doc to get stitching. And Uber mega gross alert! Ooh! That was really impressive. What's next at number 3, Mr. G?
Looks like it's Junior from Series 8, who came into hospital after having a nasty decorating accident while using craft scissors.
Junior's cut was so deep he needed an operation. Plastic surgeon Mr. Andrew Knight stepped in to check for any damage to his tendons or nerves.
Stand by for a mega gross alert!
Ooh, there it is. But there was more to come. We had to upgrade to an
Uber mega gross alert!
Ooh! You can see the tendon.
Yes, you can. It's so rare to be able to see inside a hand like this. That's one impressive gross alert, Grumbles.
Gross alert number 2 now, and we're going back to Series 6 to meet Abdul.
I remember that impressive bandage.
Abdul came to hospital with his mum because he'd hurt his head. He'd been playing football with his mates. He was reaching for the ball, but instead of striking it, he struck his forehead against the door.
Ouch!
Ouch! I do remember the gross alert was about here. Oh yes, here it comes!
Whoa!
You've got quite an impressive cut on your head.
You can say that again. After getting checked out for concussion, it was time to get stitched up. And this is where we got to see Abdul's skull. Mega gross alert!
Ooh! That's a skull!
Oh wow, you can really see it so clearly. That's incredible! Great gross alerts. Thanks, Abdul.
Okay, here we go. Mr. Grumble's top gross alert of all time. And we're going right back to the very first episode of Ouch.
How many flies have you got in this room?
We've got 36,000 flies in this room.
Excuse me, Mr. Grumbles. Although Maggie the Fly might not look too nice to some people, I don't think she justifies a gross alert, does she?
Zand, just you wait. The flies I met were laying maggots.
Oh, that put me off my cheese roll. Oh dear, I think I now remember why Mr. Grumbles chose this as his #1 gross alert ever.
Yes, Zand. Those superhero maggots are used to clean away dead skin from large wounds, allowing them to heal.
Get ready for our biggest gross alert ever!
This foot injury was infected with dead yellow flesh that needed to be cleaned right away.
Whoa!
Whoa!
So the army of maggot doctors went to work and started to eat away the rotting tissue.
And although it might look worse with maggots in, 2 days later it was actually much healthier as most of the dead flesh was gone.
The maggots were a super medical team, as they didn't eat any of the healthy flesh, only the dead stuff.
Nice work, maggots, and Mr. G.
Look away now if you're a bit squeamish.
A lot of you had cuts and grazes like Ben, who sent us a picture of a nasty cut on his forehead. Rhea hurt her finger, and Madison had a deep cut on her chin. All these injuries will have healed, and we can see the stages of that healing process with Emily and her cut knee.
After a few days, we can see a scab formed over the wound.
The scab on Emily's knee is helping keep that wound moist, and the moisture means that all the healing cells underneath the scab can get to work and heal the cut. So what happens when your body heals a wound? Well, a lot of it is down to your cells.
These cells were cut in the laboratory to create a gap just like the one you'd have in your skin if you cut or grazed it. And if you look carefully, you can see that they start to divide to make new cells which bridge the gap and begin to close the wound.
Different wounds heal at different speeds. Look at Grayson. He's had a minor operation in his mouth.
Where he had the operation, there's white dead skin and brown clotted blood, but the rest of the mouth looks very pink and red and moist. And that moisture, the saliva, is the key to mouth wounds healing really quickly. Because look at Grayson just a few days later. The whole of Grayson's mouth looks pink and red and healthy.
Gross alert!
Got down to the bone, then fired the wire across the break, through the bone to hold it all together.
An X-ray is taken to make sure the wire is keeping the wrist stable. The cut is then stitched up and the gross alert is over. And a new cast is put on Jack's arm so his bones can heal.
Here comes a gross alert!
Mr. Karabaich will be performing keyhole or laparoscopic surgery. A camera and surgical equipment are put through holes made in Leo's tummy to find his appendix.
And there it is. So how's it looking, Mr. Karabaich?
There's a lot of inflammations.
Extra gross alert! Leo's appendix is carefully removed, but you don't need your appendix, so we won't miss it. Whoa! Well, that's the last we'll see from you, Leo's appendix.
Leo is then stitched up and taken to the ward to recover.
3 days later, and time to find out.
Does Leo like vinegar on his chips?
No.
Oh.
How you doing, fella?
Feeling better.
Brilliant news. You ready for anything?
Yeah, but I'm not going to skydive.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe that's one step too far. Bye, Leo!
Earlier, Cameron arrived in the emergency department with an injury in his mouth.
He had tripped over while brushing his teeth with an electric toothbrush,
which made a hole inside his mouth.
Ouch!
Time for a gross alert.
After checking out the injury, Surgeon Ben could see that Cameron had cut his soft palate and needed an operation.
Operating today is Specialty Registrar Mr. David Horton. Cameron first has a general anaesthetic that will put him temporarily to sleep so he can't feel any pain.
Watch out for an extreme gross alert!
After closer examination of Cameron's injury, Registrar David cleans the hole and closes it with dissolvable stitches.
How will it heal, Doc?
The mouth heals remarkably well. It's got such a good blood supply and there shouldn't be any issue with infection. So that should be back to normal within a week or two, really.
After staying overnight at the hospital, the doctors are happy that Cameron is ready to go home.
How's your mouth feeling now?
I'm feeling good.
Double thumbs up. Anything else to add?
I've learned not to walk around with my toothbrush in my mouth.
Well, you can't say better than that.
Take care now.
Bye! Ouch! Look away now if you're squeamish!
This is a pig's head, and it's been cut in half so that you can see how pigs and how you smell. And it's all thanks to something called the olfactory system. So let's start by looking at the pig's nose. When you breathe in, any smell particles in the air get wafted up to a part of the nose called the olfactory epithelium, which is packed with special olfactory nerves. The smell particles bind to the receptors on the nerves, which send an electrical message to an area of the brain, which is called the olfactory bulb. And that's the part of the brain that deals with all the information about smell and makes sense of it. Now, on the nerves that carry the smell information to the brain, there are 400 different receptors on those smell nerves in the nose to bind different smelly particles in the air that you breathe in. What's amazing is that the olfactory bulb in your brain is able to decode different combinations of molecules, so you can detect more than 1 trillion different smells. Time to head back to the emergency department to see how Victoria's getting on with her nails!
Earlier, Victoria arrived in the emergency department with a broken nail.
Victoria was playing rugby while wearing a set of false nails.
One of her false nails got caught on another player, causing the false nail to bend back and damage the real one. An X-ray of Victoria's hand shows no broken bones, but after an examination by Dr. Mohammed, he decided the best thing to do was to remove the nail completely.
Don't worry, Victoria, you won't feel a thing. Dr. Mohammed starts by cleaning the area and then numbing Victoria's fingers with a local anaesthetic.
Okay.
After checking that Victoria's fingers are numb, stand by for a gross alert! Dr. Mohammed slowly removes the false and broken nail underneath.
All right.
Nailed it!
To stop any infection from getting to Victoria's finger, Dr. Mohammed puts a big old bandage on it.
Job done.
After 7 days, the wound should be healed, but it can take around 6 months for the nail to grow back completely.
Will you be getting your nails done anytime soon, Victoria?
I know I'm not getting any fake nails again.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there. Take care of that little pinky, and we hope you're better soon.
This is a cold brown.
It's poo!
Oh no. It's not the most glamorous job, but it's got to be done, and you've got to keep the hospital operational.
Hold on a second. That looks like tea bags. Have you made up this code brown especially for me?
Well, we might have done, or someone's been eating tea bags.
Nothing like a nice cup of tea, Chris. Ugh.
Okay, so show me how you unblock the toilet.
Put the plunger in, cover the hole.
Get to it, Chris.
You're giving it some, aren't you?
Stop leaving it all to Adam.
Flush the test, and there you go.
Brilliant job. Very impressed.
You big wimp.
Gross alert coming up.
I'm waiting to see the doctor.
Well, let's find out what happened.
It was a beautiful sunny day, and Megan was outside a pub garden walking along a wall.
Like a black cat, ready to pounce. Meow!
I guess so.
Or a tightrope walker at the circus. Wibbly wobbly.
Now you're getting carried away, Aunt. Megan was walking along a low wall.
Okay.
When she got to the end of the wall, she walked down some steps. But as she turned round to go back up, she tripped and fell head first, banging her head. Ouch!
And it was bleeding.
Here to check out that banged bonce is Dr. Robert Eastman.
When anyone's had a head injury, it's important to assess the nerves coming out of the brain to make sure that they've not been affected.
So, Dr. Robert first checks the nerves that control Megan's eye movement.
And then all the way down, had a look in her ears, had a look in her nose. That's to make sure that if someone falls over, that they've not injured anything inside the nose.
Megan passes Dr. Robert's tests with flying colours.
Now it's time to inspect the wound.
If I feel down your head here, does that feel okay? Yeah? Just look up for me.
What's going on here?
Keep your eye on Megan's wandering fingers.
Busted!
So I'm just pressing with my hands to make sure the skin would go back together so we can steri-strip the wound, and that'll close it up nicely.
Megan heads off to get those steri-strips stuck on.
But there's something worrying her.
It's only going to be cold water.
It's not cold water that's troubling Megan, Mum.
I don't want my socks on.
You don't want your socks on? Is that going to affect your head?
Everyone knows wearing socks affects your head, Mum.
Right, I'm going to start with the bit where it's not cut. We'll get all this blood off.
With those steri-strips stuck on, the skin on Megan's head will start to heal straight away.
She'll be back to normal in no time.
And her socks are back on.
So, Megan, what have you learnt today?
I've learned to be more careful.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Bye!
Bye.
Bye!
Gross alert!
Logan's having an anaesthetic injected directly into his cut. That way, he'll feel no pain when he's stitched up.
Good man. Superstar. Nurse Hazel uses a special needle and thread to carefully bring the two bits of skin back together.
With the help of the gas and air,
Whoa.
and his numbing injection,
You're doing super well.
Logan seems to be quite content.
Neat job.
I've got 4 stitches.
Gross alert over. How did it go, Nurse Hazel?
The wound closed up fine, looked fine. Logan tolerated it very well. Right, bud, good job.
As for Logan?
That's laughable weird gas. It's good.
Nope, no idea what he said.
Well, he seems happy.
Should heal absolutely fine. He'll be back to normal after 7 days once the sutures have been removed.
Knee fixed up, Logan can make his way home. Slowly.
Before you go, any final words?
Don't do the thing what I did.
Fair enough. I'll keep away from tree trunks then.
Bye!